Spill the tea, coaching edition. Is there anything that your clients do that annoy you?
Yes, when they don't do their homework, because it's very important for coachee to go back and do something. And when they don't come back with their homework, unless there's something that happened with them, it's like, oh, we are not gonna make a progress here. That could be a bit annoying.
What has been the most embarrassing moment you faced while coaching?
Yeah, the most embarrassing. I don't have most embarrassing, maybe embarrassing moments most of the time when I can't. I have my phone. Sometimes I coach on using my phone, and it falls, and my clients get to see only the ceilings and the lights, and I'm still looking for it till the time I get back, and we get back to a normal session. That could be embarrassing.
What has been the biggest mistake you made and how did you learn from it?
Oh yeah. So this is I love that question. And I think the biggest mistake I made was not believing myself. And as a young person in my 20s and even in early 30s, a lot of belief system was extrinsic. And I've been hearing all that thing like everything is inside, everything is internal. It took me a long time to process it and really start working on it. How does it work? If it is in there, how do I access it? And since then, my life has changed.
Has there been any feedback you received that you didn't expect?
So when I was studying architecture, I remember we used to make drawings, the draft layout plans and this and that. And I used to think my teachers are going to advise on functional things like this corridor has to be like this, or where's the north, or where's the south, or what is the process of design. But it's funny that my teachers used to give advice on things which didn't matter much for me at the time. And it really took away my interest from architecture. And I just studied it and I never pursued it. So I give you an example. For example, they would be saying like, hey, you forgot the railing on your balcony, or those little details which you don't get time because you're always working hard on your drawings. And then I'm like, I did not have any interest to pursue it.
What has been your most memorable client and why?
Oh my God, she's still my most memorable client, and she's still my client. And she is so amazing. The thing is, what I like about her is she is so authentic. And what we are working now is kind of working towards her business development. And she's in transitioning. She's like working on a job and she's transitioning to set up her new business. And whatever we talk about, next day she comes prepared, she works on it. And it's such a beautiful discovery. Every session is like, it's very heart touching. And I'm always happy coaching her.
What has been the longest conversation you've had with a client and what made it very long?
Okay, so once I had a coaching session which went for 3 hours. And it was about, actually it was a timeline therapy followed by how are you feeling kind of reflection. Usually timeline therapy easily takes an hour or sometimes an hour and a half if there are a lot of things coming from the past. And so that was my longest call. We talked for 3 hours. And it was because that person was not aware that there were so many children at work. And she did not understand that how they were actually affecting her. And now seeing that connection, how it was affecting her to be not whole person but to be someone else, was like biggest discovery. And we both were like, at the end, we did not feel tired, but we were happy and we were laughing like, my goodness, we spent 3 hours talking. So that was my longest one so far.
What has been the shortest conversation you've had with a client and what did you learn?
Yeah, so then my shortest one was a 7-minute call. Someone called me for 7 minutes, and she was like, that's all I have. Like, this is what I have the points to call you. And when we were talking, it was more about she wanted to know, she herself wanted to be a coach and she wanted to know how coaching works and how she can be a good coach. So I was really, in that 7 minutes, we were really talking very fast because she had so many questions and we had only 7 minutes. So, but it was interesting that we did feel like a lot of things, we messaged each other and we did feel like a lot of things surfaced up, and she thanked me for that. And I was like, okay, this is something like laser coaching session. You just talk to someone in 7 minutes and, you give them some instant replies.
What makes some clients harder than others to handle?
Oh my God. So this is a great question. The hardest clients are those who come to us coaching session, who wants to be coached, but they are not ready to open up, you know. What I mean to say here is it's not that they're talking, they're sharing, but when they say everything is perfect in their life, everything is going great, I have no problem, but we are there to talk on a topic and they are not ready to open up to say, if everything is a perfect, then why that thing is still bothering you. And I realized that it's a kind of hyperachiever in a child when they do that, because they just want to mask things and they want to say everything is perfect. And those clients really open up slowly, and we have to be patient with them, and they bother me.
Has there been any off-topic conversation a client has spoken to you about during coaching?
Or if they tell me it was my birthday, then we would talk about how was the party, or if they update about anything, we as a coach, we and even as a coachee, we tend to remember those attributes of their life and bring them in the next call. So I guess that's what make all of us human.
Have you ever given any advice that backfired?
Yeah, so as coaches, as I said, we are not supposed to give advices. The answers are within the coachees, but they do when we ask for advice. Sorry, when they ask for advice and we give them with their permission. Most of the time they are okay, but yes, not really backfired. They would say, but that's not possible, you know, and then they explain why it's not possible. And then we move on with that discussion, because sometimes you don't have perspective of what's going on in their country or in their region. And sometimes we talk about toxic employees and colleagues, and we might suggest something but the reality is different. So really try to understand from them, and it's okay if doesn't work, to understand and what could work, then really find the real answer.
Have you ever had to cut the meeting short because you weren't interested in a coaching session that you had?
Never. So that never happens. In fact, my coaches had to cut the meeting short because something else came. It was some emergencies and stuff.
Have you ever had to have you ever argued with a coachee during a coaching session?
Not really. I think it's very professional when you're talking. So we could have a difference of opinion, but again, it's a suggestion coming from them. And you might say like, okay, if you think it's going to work, try it out, and we make mini goals. And then they come back and say like, hey, I tried out and didn't work, and then we go on. So what do you think, what's going to work? And so it's never been into any argument, or and that kind of mode where we're not happy with each other.
Has a coachee ever raised their voice or yelled at you?
Never, luckily, and I hope not ever. So again, coaching space is like one of the safest place, and if you are not able to establish that, and if the emotions are going in different direction, that means that's your job as a coach to make sure that your client feels safe. It's not about you. The story is all about the client. So whatever makes them perfect in terms of their function, and they should feel safe, and they should feel cared, and they should feel valued, so they are in their best version, not in their angry or triggered version.